Blessings. So here we are, the NEP retreat, and I'm super excited to introduce our next guest. We have Maya, and everybody knows I never read bios because I feel like it's so redundant. It's so much more fun to just have the person talk a little bit about themselves and connect to them as they're talking from themselves, and then you can be invited into her space. So welcome, Maya. I'm going to go ahead and just pin you to the top and let you take over.
Oh, thank you so much, Jules. I'm Maya Boston, and I call myself a transition guide because I assist my clients to transition from 3D consciousness to 5D consciousness. And aside from that, I am also an international speaker and presenter, light language channel, gong sound journey practitioner, and I also have a collaborative book that I did last year that went to bestseller on Amazon. And I have been in practice for over 17 years now. And I just love how my journey brings me into contact with people from all around the world. And it's forever changing. The journey is forever evolving. I'm not, it's not like a job where you just go and work 9 to 5 and do the same thing day in, day out. It's every day is different. Every person is different. Every person has their individual journey. So I just love that about the work that I'm doing on the planet at the moment, and that it is changing, always changing, and it always will be, because we're here to evolve. And so today I wanted to talk about being your authentic self, and I find that is really an important topic at this point in time, as we transition from the 4th dimension that we're currently into the 5th dimensional frequencies. So so we started off in the 3rd dimension, and it was pretty much the same, like from the beginning. We had the constant 3D energies. Things took a long time. People even stayed in their jobs for 40 years and did the same job for 40 years. I believe the statistics today, less than 3 years, and we moved to a new job. So there's a change is happening very quickly. And in that cosmic moment of December 21st, 2012, we saw the end of the Atlantean era. We saw the end of what they called the Mayan long count calendar, and we moved into the wonderful 4D energies that we are in now, where everything is just speeding up. Everything is just shifting and changing so quickly, and at such a fast pace that it's hard to keep up sometimes. We're moving at such a we're moving because we've agreed to do this into through the ascension process at a much faster pace than we normally have, or that other planets in this galaxy have in the past. So and we're doing this because we're setting a precedent for the galaxy and for other planets and other dimensions that are connected to ours, that we can go through this shift much faster than others have on other planets. And of course, the others were and still are us. They're aspects of us. We call ourselves star seeds, but we're all spread throughout the galaxy. We've had past lives on other planets, and my understanding on the Pleiades is that the Palladians took about 1 million years to do their ascension process. And we're setting a precedent here on Earth where we're choosing to move much faster through it. It's like, how fast can we get through this? Let's just test ourselves. And so we're moving from that state of ego into love. Now, let me just clarify at this point in time that ego is not a bad thing. Ego is part of our physical aspect, and the thing that we did in 3D was allow ego to overtake our lives. And so we have ego keeping us safe, right? Don't, ego is that little voice in your head that says, oh, you can't do that because, something will happen, or, don't go there because that's not good for you. And any time that we do something that would expand beyond, allow us to expand beyond our comfort zone, ego kicks in to try and keep us safe. And that's fine if ego was in balance, but a lot of times we're listening to that voice and we're allowing it to take us into fear, and so we don't go beyond our comfort zone, and therefore we don't grow. But that's what our challenge is to bring ego into balance with higher self. So it's all about balance. And so that's basically what we were doing in 3D. And now we've moved into 4D, which for me, 4D is just a transitional space. It's the place where we've created, because all the things that we have in 3D, we cannot take into the fifth dimensional frequencies. So for example, the lower frequency emotions that we had in 3D, we can't take those into 5D, into the higher frequencies. So we can't take the anger, the fear, the hate, the separation, whatever it is, the jealousy, whatever it is, that any of those lower frequency emotions, we cannot take those into the fifth dimensional frequencies. So that's why we have 4D. 4D is the transitional phase. It's going to be, well, we're already halfway through. It was about, from 2012, we agreed that it would be about 18 to 20 years, which brings us to that Mayan calendar date of 2030, and 2032, sorry. And so we've got this space of about 2 decades to really transition who we are and become who we truly are, because we're not the rage, we're not the anger that we hold, we're not the separation, we're not the hate, we're not the jealousy and all those lower frequency emotions. We're not any of that, and we've just been programmed to feel that way. And so we need to move, and we need to examine in this time, we need to examine every aspect of our lives and how do we respond? What emotions are we responding with? What are we going to put out there into the world? Is it going to be fear, or is it going to be love? And so this is why we're seeing the world in such a chaotic state, because we are chaotic on the inside, as within, so without. And because we're transitioning, we're looking, nothing is staying stable anymore. Everything is shifting so fast that we are feeling that chaos within. But every single aspect of our lives, right through, not just to how we are on the inside, but to our outsiders world as well, the governments, what kind of houses we live in, what financial institutions exist on the planet, all of that's going to be changed because it needs to be changed in order for us to get to those fifth dimensional frequencies. So since 2012, it's, I found myself repeating a lot, saying, oh, it's really intense on the planet at the moment. And that's because every gateway, every portal, every solstice, every equinox, we've had energy surges where every super full moon, incrementally they're increasing the frequencies on the planet so that we keep this fast-paced momentum and go through the necessary changes that we need to go through. So this is what I'm saying. This is why my topic's titled, to become more of your authentic self, because your authentic self is love. Your authentic self is compassion. Your authentic self is understanding and acceptance and tolerance and all those wonderful higher frequency emotions, as opposed to all those other things that come from fear. So the other thing that I wanted to mention about dimensions, because I'm specifically talking about dimensions here, is that dimensions are not a destination. It's I think that it happened back in the cosmic moment in December 2012, where a lot of people on the planet thought, wonderful, on the 22nd of December, I'm going to wake up on another planet, I'm going to wake up in another dimension, another place. Everybody was like, having parties to stay awake beyond midnight so that when the clock ticked over, we were going to like suddenly be somewhere else. And the vision that I was given at the time was in 3D, was like I was standing on a hill looking out at a landscape and I could see right to the horizon. But the further that I looked into the landscape and towards the horizon, the less I could distinguish between the shapes and just some shapes looked a bit scary and dark and couldn't quite see everything that was there. And then they said to me, the next step is still seeing that exact same landscape, but now you've got a different perspective. So that in the vision, they put a tree next to me and I found myself sitting on the first branch of the tree and I'm looking out at exactly the same landscape, but that dark shape that I saw in the distance before, now that's clarified and I can see that's just a patch of bushes. So it wasn't that scary after all. So from a different, higher perspective, I'm still seeing the same landscape, but I'm seeing with a little more clarity because I have this higher perspective. So that was the vision that I got, and I understood that dimension isn't a different place. It isn't a different planet. It isn't, where, suddenly we're going to have fairies and unicorns around us or, whatever. It's the same thing, but it's a state of consciousness, and consciousness is the way that we think, is the way that we the mindset that we have. So we're the third density was about knowledge. So we were very focused on learning something out of a book or in a classroom. So knowledge that was taught to us, that's very third dimensional. To the fourth dimensional frequencies, where we are in the knowing that something is right for us, knowing something and we don't even know how we know it because some information has come in. And then the fifth density, of course, is the emotions, the feelings. I feel this is not right for me. I feel love. I feel it's all about feeling and trusting the feeling within. And the fourth density is teaching us to trust the knowing within. We don't need to know where it came from. It just is. It's an acceptance. So I'm slowly moving into the fifth dimensional frequencies, which are very heart-centered. So we're thinking with the heart, and we know that science is already confirming for us that the heart is the second brain in the body, because it has even more neural pathways than the brain itself. It holds certainly a bigger electromagnetic field than the brain. And so we're moving into this heart-centered thinking, this heart-centered consciousness of the unity consciousness. Because when I speak light language, I'm channeling through the heart. When someone's listening to light language, in order to truly hear it, they're listening through the heart. So it's all based, heart-based, and that is our true, authentic self. That is the beings that we are through the heart, through the heart-centered consciousness, unity consciousness. So that is who we truly are. And the challenge is to still remain in this physical body, and to bring this physical body into higher frequencies, into the fifth dimensional frequencies. So this is why we need to leave behind the lower frequency emotions. And the more that we leave them behind, the more I find, because I've been and am still going through this process that started for me 2 years ago, the more I find I'm stepping into my sovereignty, and the less I'm being triggered by outside events and things that people do or say, or things that I might see on the evening news. And in place of lower frequency emotions, I find compassion is welling up in me. I find love is welling up in me for what I'm witnessing on the outside, especially on the things that we can see on our evening news. But when it comes to situations around me as well, I'm more in my grounded, centered self, and I'm more present to be able to say, this is how I will respond to this situation, rather than doing that knee-jerk reaction and going into anger and, or, being quite sad and all all those lower frequency emotions that we've just been programmed to express it as a reaction, in place of consciously responding. So I can agree to something, or I can choose not to agree to something that is being said. And if I don't agree with what's being said, and someone responds to me, I'm not feeling a personal attack. I'm just seeing that is that individual's personal opinion, and that's all it is. And I know myself, and I don't agree with that, and that's okay to disagree. We're all individuals. We're all unique expressions of our higher selves. So we don't have to all agree, but our first reaction isn't going to be to resort to the lower frequency emotions, or even to go to war. Because we want something to be our way. We can see a bigger picture. It's a different perspective, so we can see the bigger picture. We can respond, or we also have the third choice of we can respond with, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I need some time to process. So I will get back to you when I have sat with this for a while. So that is also quite a valid response, but it's not. It is a response rather than a reaction. So so I feel that's where we are in this phase currently, and why things are shifting so quickly, and really getting us, to that next level in our own personal individual journeys. And so when I went through all of this personally myself over 2 years ago, I then when a lot of the changes had settled down, I then created a program. So that is also part of my um, that is part of what I do as service on the planet, and transitioning people from third dimensional consciousness to fifth dimensional consciousness. And I have a specific program to do with getting you really into your sovereignty. And in order to step into our sovereignty, we really need to be honest with ourselves. I've created a list of low frequency emotions, and I had to ask myself, am I that? Because in order to become something else, I have to change that within me. So I've also got a list of positive emotions. So also asking myself, am I that? Am I patient? Am I compassionate? Am I loving? Am I welcoming? Am I, so always asking myself, am I that? And in order to become that, so that I can come into contact with those with the frequencies that I am looking to become part of. So so being in this wonderful space of um, change, that is the fourth dimension, is just it's just how clever. I thought when I finally got the bigger picture, I thought, oh, how clever of us to have created this space where we could transition, that we just didn't go from one space from 3D to 5D and bang, and then had to struggle with 5D. We've got this lovely breathing space that we've given ourselves time to adjust, because gosh, I don't know about any of you, but sometimes the energies that come in on the planet, like just recently, the 22, well, for us it's in here in Australia it's 22/2/22. But the Tuesday that was just, and I know it's a date on the calendar, but because all of humanity as a collective is joining in on this is how we created this portal. It was just wow, it was just a very intense for me, and took me a couple of days to just process all of that energy. And of course the lovely number 22, and my program for sovereignty is 22 days to achieve sovereignty, because 22 in numerology, of course, is the master builder number. So so all of these things that are happening in the outside world are a reflection of what is happening within us. And it's also the going through the changes. We can see very clearly on the outside the change that is going on. So some of us are going through it lightly because we've done previous work, and some are just awakening to do their work. And I think this is where the love and compassion comes in, because we can really see and associate with what someone else is going through, if we can if we're lucky enough to witness their process. I just find it very honoring to be able to assist, or to even just witness another person's journey, another person's process. So what a wonderful time we're living in. I'm excited. I'm really excited for where we're at, where humanity's at. I know it doesn't quite look like that, and there's some things going on, some recent developments which are let me say, it's a very big distraction. And the more that we are going and doing our work, the more distractions there will be on the outside, because the energies on the planet that have been in and have kept us in the third density for such a long time don't want us to shift out. And so they're giving us this big shock and awe campaign in order for us to, to feel, to go back into fear, to go back into those lower frequency emotions. And as long as we're standing our ground, as long as we can see what's going on around us and still hold a higher frequency, whether that's being joyful for someone else because they've achieved something themselves, or whether it's seeing something on the evening news that really, really pulls at our heartstrings and we can relate, because we've seen it so many times before on our evening news, that we bring up the compassion, that we bring up the love and send it out to people. And I know that it works. And I spent a number of months last year sending love to a particular person who was going through a very difficult time. And they had gotten sick and were in hospital with a very serious illness, nothing to do with the thing that's going on at the moment. But they came back to me after they got out of hospital and said they could actually feel me there a lot of the time. And I don't know what their hospital room looked like or anything. All I know is I had the picture of the person in my mind, in my heart, when I was taking those moments to send them love, and that whatever they're going through is for their highest good, and that they would come out the other end of this, obviously a way of them transitioning into a different phase of their journey, and that they chose to do this, but that I sent out the compassion and love, or on several times a week, to help them on their journey. So I know it definitely works when we send love out. We know when we do this as a collective, that the human resonance spikes on the graph when we go into a collective meditation on the planet, and we can change things. So if we can change the Schumann resonance on the planet and bring in a higher frequency, we can certainly change ourselves. So I'd like to get to a point where let's do a little meditation. So let's just close our eyes and take a deep breath in through the nose, and just breathing down, right down into the belly, deep breath. And if you feel you need to place your hand on your belly to help you focus on that area of your body, that is perfectly fine. So making sure that you just get that beautiful, deep cleansing breath right down into your belly, and then exhaling through the mouth. And another deep breath in through the nose, and exhaling through the mouth. And another deep breath in, and exhaling, and just getting into your natural rhythm of breathing, but still taking those deep cleansing breaths. And as you're doing this, also notice how you're feeling. Notice your mind. Notice your body. Notice your emotions. Just notice yourself as a whole. They're prompting me to speak some light language here. And as I'm speaking the light language, just breathe in those light codes and frequencies and breathe them into your heart. And so also if you need to place your hand on your heart just to help you focus, that is perfectly fine. Koraina shuku pakike arakin uma eka hei horiki no sheka nianaka hora no koin tahaiku maari ho in shukuka kora aha i o shehini uraha Dei Cora un. And just receiving those light codes and frequencies into your heart. And feeling your heart expand in your chest. That warm, beautiful energy that is you. Because now through the light language, I have spoken heart to heart. And allow that energy to expand throughout your whole body. Right down into your toes, and to the ends of your fingers, and to the top of your head. As you take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, allow it to expand, allow that beautiful heart energy to expand out into your field. And I'd like you to recall perhaps something that you have found unsettling, some recent information, perhaps that maybe a situation that you're encountering and it's proving to be a little challenging for you. I'd like you to take that situation or information and just place it in your heart. And I'm just going to speak some light language again to enable some of you to do that. Hora kiana, hushika, hukoraki, numinari, ah, hurihana, ah, ui, hopakiaina i, te, uran, pach. Just take a deep breath into that. Place all of those light codes and frequencies into your heart, along with that information that you are placing there, that challenge, that difficulty that you're wrestling with, that resistance that you have to something. And just allow that to sit in your heart. Allow it to settle in there. And take a deep breath into your heart. And ask it, is this right for me? Ask it, what do I need to do about this? And then listen to your heart's response. Listen to that inner guidance as you run this challenge through your heart. What does it feel like? Whatever the response from your heart, just accept that with love and gratitude. This has been a little exercise in acceptance when there is resistance to something. And with practice, you can make it your first response to everything that comes to you. Koraina shukoin hom akiari. Tuku hayana a o mahe tu korae shukumini o irati kaina a tu rahi nu makana a oreya te e a on. Just breathe all of that into your heart. Feel the love that is who you truly are. It is your authentic self. For how can you be anything else? You have come from love. You are made with love. And you are love. And just allow that to settle into your heart. And give yourself a few more moments. Take another deep breath in And exhale as you slowly prepare to open your eyes. Just taking your time, there's no rush. You have some water nearby, make sure you take a drink of water. So I trust you enjoyed the process that we did together. I trust that this process you will remember, and that you will begin to practice it, because it takes us into the fifth density frequencies of living from the heart, and thinking with the heart, running something through your heart in case you're not sure about it, and trusting the heart guidance, the heart intelligence, that is what is right for you. So if you have any questions at this point in time, I'm open to it.
Thank you so much, Maya. That was just lovely. Just so peaceful and just a wonderful way to. I know for you, it's starting the day. For a lot of us, it's kind of bringing us into our evening. And I know for Aaron, it's gosh, almost midnight or something where he is. So he'll be going to bed peacefully. So I will just open it up. You can just raise your hand or just unmute yourself if you'd like. Go ahead, Luann.
Thank you, Maya. That was really beautiful. During the light language, as that process was being moved through, I just felt myself dropping deeper and deeper into the heart space. And at one point, I think it was after the last light language activation, I felt like the male and the female aspects of myself like join hands and do this merging. And it was really very beautiful, very peaceful, very calming, very loving. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for sharing, and how wonderful, the masculine and feminine joining hands, and coming into balance, because of course that's another thing that needs to happen within, isn't it, for us to get to that space of unity consciousness. So thank you so much for sharing. I really am feeling that with my heart.
Thank you, Luann. Does anybody else have a question or a reflection for Maya?
You do.
Hi, Erica.
Yeah, thank you, Maya. That was so beautiful. I have a question for you and anyone else. I know there are quite a few people on here who speak light language. Um, do you know where it's coming from? Like, is it coming in through like a certain planet or system or the elementals, or it changes? But I'm just wondering if you personally know. I'm just so
The
curious
light
because they
language,
sound so
the light
different.
language itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm told that because I roll my R's, that is Lyran. So that is predominantly the one that comes in, but then I have the others that come in, and I know they're all star languages because I've been there.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I also can bring in the elementals as well, and they're always so joyful. They're like effervescent is how I feel them, like bubbles. And they're just effervescent, and they're all over me, and they kind of tickle me, and I have to giggle and bring that inner child up, because that's what they bring up in me. So I know that when that comes through, that feels very joyful for me. And so I know it's the elementals. But yeah, several languages and for me to even get to talk, to speak light language was, oh, that can't be right. It can't be right. In the beginning, it was,
Yeah.
and it was like, I don't want to speak because it sounds weird, and so I would whisper it, but yeah, now it's like, ta-da, this is me.
I love that. Well, just really quickly, the last time I spoke with you, you brought through the whales, and it's just like you can really feel the difference and hear the difference in whichever you're
Yeah.
bringing through. So thank you.
Yeah, because as I'm tuning into the different things, and my guidance said, well, if you can tune into a whale, you can tune into a virus, and I'm like, what? I can? So yeah, so I think I shared that with you. I had received information from the virus in order to let people know it's okay, it's nothing to fear, it just brings in transformation.
Yeah.
And we can all do this. This is not, I think I put a post up on my Facebook page the other day and said, not everybody has the gift, but not everybody has unpackaged, has opened their gift, so I wrote something about that. So I've opened mine and I'm loving it. So what are the rest of you waiting for? Come on, guys, it's a lot of fun.
I love that. It's magic, pure magic. Anybody else have something that was a great question, Erica. Does anybody else have any comments or reflections, questions for Maya?
I just really felt that this transmission went really, really deep. And it was just such a joyful, peaceful place. And it just really felt like there was no fear there. It was just total neutrality. It was a beautiful place. Thank you, Maya.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. I love your backdrop.
It's the Grand Canyon.
I know, I've been there, and I'm looking at it now and going, oh. Because of course, you might have heard, they're calling us in the news, they're calling us over here Fortress WA, because the restrictions have not allowed us to even leave the state. We've been quite freely being able to move around the state, but we haven't been able to leave the state or the country. So I haven't been able to travel anywhere, which is, another issue that I had to come to terms with. Was like, okay, so I can't do that anymore. What am I doing now? but yeah, in the neutrality is the sovereignty. I'm not in reaction unless it's a high frequency reaction or a high frequency emotion, and the place of stillness within. The more we claim sovereignty, the more we find that peace within. The more, and that is who we truly are. We're not that. If I taught 20 years ago when I began my personal journey, if I could if someone asked me to describe what I'm feeling, I couldn't say exactly, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling something. My word to that question was simply, I'm feeling blah. Because the image that I had when I tuned into the inside of myself was like all these cotton threads that are all different colors, and they're all tangled up. They're all a big mess on the inside. And so my personal journey and the vision that I held for myself was to pick a thread out of that jumble and work out, what is that? Is that fear? Is that love? Is that what is that emotion that I'm feeling? And then I would, start to unravel it. I'd start to pull it out. What is this? Why am I feeling this way? When do I feel this way? And so I unraveled the big jumble inside, the big knot that I had. I remember it forever. In my childhood, it was there. This knot would suddenly just take over my whole being and put me into fear because of the things that were going on around me. So finding peace finally was such a blessing. But thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Did you have a question, Ellen?
I just wanted to, first of all, say thank you. That was absolutely spectacular. And that I had been presented with a challenge, an issue, a question yesterday that I hadn't had the opportunity yet to consult my inner self on. And so thank you for giving me that opportunity. And the answer came and I have such peace. So thank you. Namaste.
Wonderful. Oh, that is such wonderful. I've got goosebumps. Oh, thank you for sharing that. That is so amazing. Yay! Do a little happy dance.
I love that. I'm so happy to hear that. We got some feedback, I think, coming maybe from Anne. Does anybody else have a reflection for Maya before we close for today? So, oh, go ahead, Sandy.
Maya, thank you very much. I want to say that aside from this very bubbly, wonderful, happy personality that you have lovingly shared with us, the process that you took us through, I went so deep that I was really pretty much almost unconscious, just so in a place of such peace that it took me a while to begin to find my way back into this dimension. So I really say thank you, because you are very powerful in your gift.
Thank you.
Oh, that was so sweet. Thank you, Sandy, for that reflection. So amazing. And yes, Maya, you are amazing. And thank you for coming and sharing yourself and your gift and your light and your bubbly personality with us today. It was such a wonderful way to close today. It's just to kind of take this energy into our evening or our day, wherever you are. Do you have any last minute words that you'd like to share with us, Maya, before we get off?
Oh, it was such an honor and pleasure to be here. And I'm very grateful to you, Jules, for allowing me to, for giving me this opportunity to share with everyone. And the, the energy in this group is just amazing. You guys were just all so open and receptive, and how wonderful. You're all warm and love. I felt your love too. So if I was giving out, it was just reflecting back at me, and it was just a lovely space to be in. So thank you all so much. Keep doing the great work that you're doing. You are all amazing beings of light, and there is nothing more powerful than your light. So allow it to shine out into the world, because the world needs your light right now. It is exactly why you are here at this moment in time in human history. So thank you. I honor you all. And, the word namaste is, I see the divine within you, and I see the divine within myself and acknowledge the divine within you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Maya. And thank you, everyone, for just holding this beautiful space as we all came together. We truly are a community of unity, and it just lights me up. And, we are the stars, we are the sun, we are that light. And it's time to shine. It's trying to be big and bold. And that's what we invite you all to do as you're holding this loving space that you have right now. And so good night to Erin, but to everyone else, wherever you are, just enjoy your evening, and we hope to see you tomorrow morning. Thanks, and enjoy your day, Maya. I know you're like tomorrow already.
I'm
So much
coming to you from the future.
right. I know, it's so fun. I just love it. All right, we will see you all tomorrow. Again, thank you so much, Maya. Lots of love to you.
Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.